Macedonian architecture, the Охрид house. You are the most cunning thief of foreign dreams, yet you sit the poorest among the four walls of morning. The horses enslaved in mortar helplessly spur on the blue rider. Their silence excites. Their foray is a quiet revolt of some imaginary house painter. The word is the small hope of the lonely. The story is in him as the shadow of the fruit. When you impregnate the fruit trees with the smile of the humblest gardener, your tomorrow will become even richer. Man creates his own home as he understands himself, his life, and his ideals. Different countries and peoples have different temperaments and customs. They have a past and a national culture, of which architecture is an important part. Architecture is the only one of the six great arts which through its function is always closely related to the real life and its essence. In every significant work of architecture, something more than the form of the spatial material is expressed. The outer independence of the form is determined from within by the immeasurable spiritual wealth of the Creator. Thus, the characteristic features of a people and epoch appear precisely in those most genuine testimonies. Modern architecture cannot exist without renewing the visions of tradition, without the refined sense of shape created by many generations over the centuries. That is why mature modern architecture tries to be different while in harmony with the national characteristics. And here, on this soil, the national qualities originate from the instinctive variety of shapes, colors, and materials, from the emotional reactions to the climate and soil conditions. Production and social functions, peculiar only to this region, have developed in a specific temporal and aesthetic psychological categories. In this way, our man, the Macedonian, at the moment he becomes economically independent and acquires the social status of a citizen with equal rights, he builds a new representative place for living. Without any introversion whatever, he begins to create a native, highly picturesque and sculpted home through a specific local historical path. Although accidentally and politically located in the Orient, the Macedonian home, widely known for its sentimental charm, had undergone obvious architectural modifications. The residence of the Macedonian is different. He does not sit cross-legged, and he does not recline in the house. His home is open to the street and the outer world. In this lasting cultural emancipation on national grounds, our man builds up and arranges his home according to his needs, his way of living, his climate, his soil. The Macedonian house is both filled with the oriental scent of pleasure and the highly noble spirit of the European culture, serving to bridge the temporal and spatial gap and acquiring a face of valuable and material document. Through the many centuries of existence, the town that has nourished the continuity of Macedonian culture and tradition is the old town of Ohrid. Ohrid owes its historical development and significance to its geographical location and the unique qualities of its natural environment. Located on the ancient military and trading route of Via Egnatia, which connected Durrës with Salonika and Constantinople, Ohrid has been an important link between Western Europe and the East. On the other hand, the aesthetic qualities of nature, often mentioned in various historical sources, the clear water of its lake, the crystal clear air, the unique sunshine and mild climate, have directly influenced the development of the human spirit, a spirit so strongly reflected in the various works of man and culture. So, the architecture of this town has originated from its exalted cultural predetermination to be always an integration of various stratified potentials, transformed in its own unique milieu, in its always fresh qualities. Continuity in the spatial and aesthetic harmony of the architectural objects built in extremely different periods of time can be easily seen in the urbanistic face of Ohrid. The Church of St. Sophia, with a characteristically Byzantine monumental architecture from the 10th to the 14th century, is surrounded in perfect harmony by houses from the 19th century, small both in individuality of their functions and in their real dimensions. The harmony is a result of the cultural unity of the epochs. Other factors of tradition can be added to the urbanistic characteristics of Ohrid. If a wealthy man of Ohrid in the middle of the 19th century wanted to build a house or a shop in the town, he did not have to go far away to find an example. He could find it in the town, as it remained from the earlier monumental period. the presence of historical qualities of this kind imposed an imperceptible obligation on him. He could not and should not invent any kind of architectural kitsch. The old medieval town on the hill has always been protected from the outer influences. As early as the 17th century, the travelogue writer Evlia Chelebia noted, "In the old town inside the citadel, there are 160 beautiful Christian houses, skillfully built and covered with tiles. And all of these houses are rich, beautifully made, with windows looking southward toward the lake." Due to the shortage of space, in some organic way, the houses have created an unusual urban tissue. In the broken, narrow, and shady streets, an interaction of buildings in rare spatial harmony, hanging one over another, is brought into existence. The ground floor is almost always built of stone, heavy and uneven, coarse and massive, rather closed, as a natural growth or continuation from the living rock in the soil. The stone emphasizes its tectonics exactly here, in this sun, in the interplay of light and dark. In strong contrast with the coarse ground floor are the upper floors, with wide openings for windows and doors. It is as if the marvelously light structure of the enclosed porches, chardacs, is here only to make the play of the colors more beautiful and entertaining. All the openings for the windows and doors and all the consoles are made of wood, which gives this architecture a peculiar touch of lightness and clarity. The dark wood, the plastered and whitened surfaces on the walls, and the shining polish of the glass in the window frames, and all this in perfect harmony, makes a strong impression. These facades sprout from the wide and strong frame of the prismatic body of the house, from its hard core around which openings are placed in various shapes, dimensions, rhythms, and proportions. Through a small but impressive door, most often decorated with wrought iron, one enters the cold porch, Mamlia. The wooden staircase leads to the enclosed porch, surrounded by many rooms. There one can still find minsofa and minder, Dolap and Musandra, Chicheluk, Jumaluk, Mangal, Jum, and Kotle, all in a kind of resonance with the modern European furnishings. It is as if our present was conceived long ago in the past, here among the scents of sweet basil and carnations. From the amazingly light staircase, where the best correlation with the structure is achieved, to the luxurious carpet and carved ceiling of the living space, we witness magnificent pictures which represent the mosaic of life, reduced to human proportions, highly architecturized and humanized. The enclosed porch, çardak, was invented by the Christians. During the Turkish occupation, they were prohibited from going to public places, but they did not want to give up their contacts and social gatherings. The enclosed porch is comfortable and pleasant, well ventilated, protected by large eaves, looking toward the uneven blue lake. It is thought that the enclosed porch represents a kind of culmination in the development of the architecture of surfaces. The essential quality of the Macedonian house lies in the geometry of space, spatial relations, and combination of colors. Space for everybody is developed through the shaping of the two-story porches. It is organized so that everything comes into one's field of vision. With this spatial achievement, the Macedonian house has passed the borders of the regional and has come to the group of spatial architectural phenomena. Le Corbusier, the unsurpassed doyen of modern architecture, used it in the resolution of two-story space in the small houses. Here is his well-known statement given while influenced by a Macedonian house. Man's happiness depends on the figure that determines the height of the living space. I level my shoulder with the opposite shore. In me there is something of the silent shore. I'll depart carrying the sadness of all impossible words, and I'll leave behind the emptiness of the night. Call my absence in that emptiness what you will. Call me what you like. I'll depart, my shoulder will stay on the shore. For in me there is something of the silent shore.